Hey guys, this is KSP with Tape, and today you join me for episode 2 of KSP A New World, my new series where I basically attempt to, colonize Lathe a bit in career mode, because I really like career mode. So, to do that, I'm going to need some tech. To get that tech, I'm going to need some money. So, I've just taken on the mission to orbit Kerbin. Yeah, that's right, I'm going to beat the Kerbal Russians to orbit. I've been to space. But that's not enough. I would need to stay in space. Best way to stay in space? Go to orbit. But I kind of want another mission just to get a little more money. Not a lot of missions I can really do in here, because it's some visual survey ones, but that kind of requires me to fly low, and it would be a lot of optimizing, and I'm not really up for that right now. So I'm thinking to just get one of these smaller missions that basically pays me to test a part, because, top tip right here, is, top tip, I'm the worst. Anyway, basically the tip is, if you're gonna do a launch or something in career mode, and there's a particularly expensive part, maybe you can get a mission to test that part. Say, I'm going to use the LVT-45 liquid fuel engine on this mission, so I'm thinking, well, I might as well be paid like 1,500 funds and 4 science and 24 reputation to use it. That covers the cost and then some, and gives me some bonuses. It's just a nice way to, reduce the price of my rockets. However, this might not be particularly successful because you have to activate it through staging above 11 kilometers, and it's my main stage engine. So just don't tell past me this, and this is of course post-commentary, so I can get more on the episode, as per usual from now on. I might do some live stuff, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm just researching a few parts. I mean, you'd like these parachutes and these landing legs, a smaller engine, some life support, a battery. That'll all be great. But now it's time to go to orbit, with Jebediah Kerman at the helm. This is sped up to 4 times time accelerate, because it is just another launch. This rocket is kind of like my Moho 1, namesake of the Mercury 1. Well, Kerbal namesake, I guess. This is the Moho 2. It's different because it's going to orbit, it has more parachutes, and it has a science payload. It also has a second stage on the, I don't know, what would Redstone? The Greenstone rocket, of course. Because it's much heavier and it is going to orbit. These science payloads are, well, they're just some mystery goo. I've taken one in the lower atmosphere, and I will be getting one from space, because I need to be getting all the technology to go to Lathe. Anyway, the main stage burns out, and it's time to it's time to cruise to our apoapsis. I'm not sure how far away it is, of course, because I have not got very good tracking capabilities. You'll notice there are landing legs on this. You must be thinking, what are you doing? You're not going to the moon, or Duna, or Minmus. You don't need landing legs. But my thinking was, I might come down a little hard. I'm not really sure. I haven't done a lot of testing. So I'm going to want some landing legs to cushion it, so I don't lose the science payload, because I cannot EVA in space, because I have not, I have not paid for the research to do that. So yeah, that's what this is basically. It's just so I can bring it back safely, because I need to bring back those canisters. Anyway, much more cloud glitching. Someone in the last video did tell me how to fix that, and it will be fixed about halfway through this episode, so there will be less weird clouds on the night side. That is because of the city lights in environmental visual enhancements. I believe that's what it's... Oh no, that's something... No, that is the one. I was thinking of better atmospheres, which I would love to use, but the RAM limit is real. Yeah. Talking of optimization problems, I was going to record some Dying Light today. I got my brand new beautiful graphics card, AMD, mistake. No, I do love AMD cards, but I was like, okay, play a bit of Dying Light. Yeah, I got like, I think like pretty much around 25 frames a second, didn't change anything. If I changed the textures, didn't help at all. Tried it on Far Cry 4, pretty demanding game, put on full ultra, ran pretty much fine. Okay, in fairness, it was only about 40 frames a second, but that's still pretty good. So yeah, I'm waiting for some optimization before I do some videos on that. Anyway, enough of talking about other games, it's time to, make these parachutes open at the right time, and I have decoupled that heat shield, but it's kind of rammed itself in the science payload, so hopefully I won't come down too hard. And I am coming down on the ocean because I undershot, because Ferrum has changed, and I haven't played much KSP recently, actually. Well, I've been playing some Solar Civilization, but that didn't really bring... well, I was until it broke, but I've been doing more kind of on Kerbin stuff. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be fine. I'm coming down pretty slow. The heat shield fell away, so the landing legs were pointless, but I'll get them back. But I am quite far away from the KSC, so I won't get that much money back. I believe I get about 33% of my money back, as we will see now. A quick save. There's no quick loading, but I like to have quick saves just because very crashy game. But anyway, Oh, my screen's... Oh, it's a loading screen. I thought Vegas was... Sony Vegas was making my screen black. Anyway, we have 48 science, which is rather nice. We got 20 science from that mission. And we did complete our objective, so we have got a decent amount of money. And we did get, yeah, 35%... Well, more like 36% of our money back for those parts we brought back, which is okay. An extra 2 grand. And Jebediah Kerman has gained an XP point, an experience point even, and is now level 1 pilot or whatever. I'm not really sure much about these kind of new leveling systems. I've played very little Point 90, but that's what this series is all about. Anyway, I'm going to research these two things, some nicer engines. Don't have to research them, or don't have to test them to use them now. I can just have them, although I haven't actually paid for them, so good luck to me. Anyway, I've got this, basically, and I was like, cancel a project? That probably counts as a failure, and I don't want to lose 4 grand. I need that 4 grand. I've got Kerbal babies to feed. Yep, I enlist them from birth to make them really ready for space. And then I take a look, see if I can do anything here. But I'm not really in the mood for these little things right now. Nothing I can really do. Walt Kerman, I don't know, he could cook me some meth or something. I guess that would help. I mean, money and stuff. But it didn't go great for Gustavo Fring, spoiler alert. Although if you haven't seen it by now, I mean, are you ever going to see it? Anyway, it's time to research these parts. I thought I'd just research all of them because, Anyway, let's test some of these engines now. I've got 2 contracts, one to test the LV909 engine, and one to test the LVT45 engine. I'm going to cruise them up to altitude on a solid rocket booster, which I have optimized to be perfect for this. Milbury is flying because he's never flown before, he's just flight testing this, and I don't have any probes, so this is necessary. Yeah, I've basically put about half the fuel in this booster and half the thrust, so it will take me up to a reasonable altitude where I can test the engine above 11 kilometers, oh no, above 7-ish kilometers, but below 11 kilometers, and at a speed between 90 meters per second and 490 meters per second. The LV909 will then cruise me to altitude, where I will then test... the LVT45, after it has done its job, will then burn off the rest of the fuel, cruising me to the right altitude for the test of the LV909. That will then give me some money and good stuff. It's nice to do a few missions. I do like this sort of stuff, testing. It's a nice feature. I'd like some more missions where you like get given something like a satellite and take it to orbit. It would feel more like, you know, being SpaceX. I did actually have a series called Being SpaceX, but it died a death. Anyway, this fuel booster is about to burn out, which is good because we're at the right altitude and the right velocity to test. Actually, it's not about velocity, is it? It's about speed. Doesn't matter which direction you're going. Anyway, we've completed that. That's good. We have a mission done. Anyway, it's time, as I said, to cruise to altitude. But I don't want to accelerate anymore because we are already at around 400 meters a second, and the parameters for testing the LV909 engine are to test it between 90 meters per second and 490 meters per second at an altitude of 17,600 meters, or 24,900 meters. Anyway, we're almost at, we're at the right altitude. Let's ditch this stage. Again, no attempts to recover any of the things that aren't now attached to the craft because, well, it would have required a lot more planning and probably wouldn't have worked out very well. I did do a lot of testing reusable rockets in Solar Civilization, but we are doing great for money. Even though we are on hard mode, we're doing pretty well for money. Ooh, and you can see the clouds don't look like crazy now. I have removed the city lights, which is a shame because I do quite like the city lights, but they make the clouds look all weird. Anyway, it's time to descend back to the oceans near the KSC, because, well, we need to, you know, bring this guy back. Milbury is a valued employee, and make the parachutes work properly. Yeah, just, I don't know, I'm just messing around with these things. I should probably set them in the VAB, not during flight. But yeah, we're gonna land this on the engine as well as the parachute, mainly so it doesn't break itself, and partly for testing landing on oceans, and we will need to test landing over oceans, because there is a heavy chance we will be landing on oceans when we go to Lathe. See, I'm already planning ahead. It's almost like I just make things up after they've happened. Oh yeah, no, that's actually what goes on. Anyway, yeah, but Lathe will have many an ocean. I will probably develop a space seaplane. Yes, that is right. I want a seaplane that's also an SSTO. That's my main goal for this series. A seaplane that goes from the ocean, an ocean takeoff, flies to space, attaches to something, goes to Lathe, and then lands on the oceans. That's mostly what I want this series. That's 80% of my goal is a seaplane. Well, seaplane SSTO. Anyway, let's ignite this engine so we don't slam into the water and die, because water is deadly. Deadly re-entry and deadly water. I should probably install better buoyancy, as people keep telling me, but I probably never will. Anyway, we have touched down successfully. That is nice. We didn't want to lose our pilot. People would be very angry, would have to pay many a price for that. Anyway, let's get him out, and slam him into the water, and take an EVA report while flying over the ocean, because that is, very important, because more science, basically. Anyway, let's recover this vessel, and, see what we got. Well, we got a bit of money, not a huge amount of money. I think probably about enough to cover the rocket, pretty much. But we also got a bit of science. Not enough to really unlock anything, but yeah, and we got 2 grand back from the craft. But anyway, let's go to the science center, or the mission center, and grab some science data from around Kerbin. That would be quite good. And to rescue, what is that, Lotbri? I can't really read it. I think it's like Lowbri or something. I can't really read it because low-res pre-render thing. Anyway, this is the Kerbal spacecraft. It is called Kerbal because of, well, the name originally came from Gemini, as in the first 2-man spacecraft built by the American Space Agency. Let's know it's the national, NASA, obviously. But yeah, but it is spelt Kerbal because it is also taking a science report from around Kerbin. It is like an eye on Kerbin. I thought that was very inspired. It has double meanings. Oh my god. But anyway, it's a little bigger rocket than last time, because it's taking 2 pods to orbit. I was using I think the KW Wildcat engine, which is just an awesome name for an engine. But yeah, it's a little more powerful than the LVT 909. No, the LVT 45s and the LVT 30s. But yeah, I have to rendezvous with Lowbri Kerman in orbit. I don't have any real, like, UI for doing this, so I have to basically use my knowledge of orbital mechanics to do this. I have left this sped up, but I have left it all in, because I'm relatively proud of this, but it was also quite difficult. I basically just used my kind of layman's knowledge of orbital mechanics to kind of do it. It is quite difficult, because when you're... the way I do it, basically, is when I'm quite far away from an object, from like my target, I move in using like orbital mechanic tricks. So basically, to move faster, you burn backwards and basically slow down, so that your orbital period is shorter, so that you will be ahead of the object when you get back, so you're traveling effectively faster than it. But when you get closer to the object, you have to burn prograde, as in at it, to get, you know, closer to the object and increase your velocity. So it's very difficult, but anyway. And it was very hard to kind of figure out a transitional period between them. So I'm basically just kind of trying to get close to it and burning retrograde every now and again to try and slow myself down, and then burning basically at the target. But that also raises my, lowers my periaps and raises my apoaps, or something like that. Basically moves my orbital period around, so I will continue to head towards the target. And now I'm just burning basically at the target to kind of just move my orbital path into the direction of Lowbri Kerman. And then now it's a matter of just kind of zeroing velocity and trying to get relatively close. And burning down at the planet, that increases your periaps and lowers your apoaps, so is a good way of circularizing your orbit if you're not at periaps or apoaps. And it's also a good trick for maneuvering towards objects. But yeah, this was a bit of playing around and eventually just being relatively inefficient, until I was in range of Lowbri and he could do all the maneuvering himself. But yeah, this was even kind of unnerving. It was actually quite a weird experience docking without any UI, because I've never done that before. Oh no, I have. I have done it actually way more difficult than this. I once used a Kerbal. He was lost around the moon, fetching a solar panel using Kerbal attachment system from a spacecraft, and I had to get him back to a spacecraft, and I had 2 reference frames. I had the moon, and I had the target marker, and I managed to, bring myself back just with the RCS pack and, my knowledge of orbital mechanics. So I was very proud of that. Anyway, we have fetched Lowbri Kerman and exploited the fact that he was already out of the capsule to get an EVA report. Oh my god! He got an EVA report. How is this possible? So yeah, he is, I think he's an engineer, actually. I will check. Well, we'll have checked. We'll see in a bit. But yeah, so he's completed the Get Science Around. He's completed one of our missions for us, basically. He's got the scientific data from around Kerbin, and that buys him a voyage back to Kerbin on the Kerbal. But yeah, hopefully we won't burn up, and hopefully we won't hit really hard into the ground. Again, I have undershot, and we'll be coming in towards the oceans. And it is at, the night. I have installed the ambient light mod, actually, which increases the ambient light, but I think I need also to install the toolbar to use it. So, yeah, I don't have that right now, so I'm a little sorry. A little bit. But I will try to fix that in future. Maybe I'll brighten this, I'm not sure. I'll see how it looks in post-production. Anyway, we touched down all nicely, and let's recover the vessel. And we have got a little bit of science. Not enough to get what I want, though. And what I want is new parts. And I don't really have enough money to upgrade anything. Well, I can, but I don't really want to. Anyway, look, I need some of these parts. Have I got the science yet? No, I do not have the science. Anyway, I'm going to research all these parts with all that money I just got, because I think I got paid about 50 grand just then, because I did 2 very nice missions. Anyway, this is my little testing spacecraft. Bob Kerman is aboard. He's a scientist, so he's doing science. It does mean I have no SAS because I don't have the module or a pilot, so that will make flying rather difficult, as you will see. Anyway, I'm just going to get mystery goo from the launch pad, in the air, and in the ocean. So yeah, let's take off. The engine has been ignited. As you can see, I start struggling to fly, as Bob Kerman provides no help at all. He is a scientist. I brought him along because he knows how to operate all the complicated machinery. But yeah, I basically need to get over to the ocean, and I'm having a little trouble because I don't want to tip over too much and just lose control. Although I do have a parachute. Although I realized I kind of messed up the staging a bit there, because I really don't want to drop this module, actually. This has the entire science thing on it, and it was very expensive. I think this whole spacecraft was, well, this whole effectively aircraft was about 5 grand, so I'd rather not destroy it. I kind of want it all back. Obviously, except for the majority of the fuel. But yeah. Let's deploy a shoot. Anyway, I don't actually have a mission for this. I did try to find some missions that would pay for some of these parts, just so I wouldn't lose money doing this research, but it was not to be, which is a shame. So yeah, I did lose money on these missions, just the money on the fuel and, having to go out to the ocean and drag it back, basically. But that's fine, I have a decent amount of money. I'm not too worried about money, although I probably will be when I start having to head out to Joule. I imagine one of those spacecraft is pretty goddamn expensive. I mean, I'm not one of the people who just, launches one Kerbal in a tiny pod's yeah, you're fine, because that's boring. I build giant spacecrafts, and I use, 10 launch vehicles to do it, and it's gonna be goddamn expensive is what it's gonna be. Anyway, let's touch down with the engine, because I don't want to destroy this, because I've got to start saving for one of those big old spacecrafts. Anyway, this falls over and worries me, but obviously that was all part of the plan, so it immerses the mystery goo in the water. But yeah, part of the plan. Yeah, I have a plan for these things. Anyway, that's a little more science. Let's recover the vessel. Hopefully I have 45, so I can unlock some solar panels and some materials bays. That would be fantastic. But I feel as if maybe I haven't. Didn't cut that loading scene out. Yeah, I'm about, 40.9, so I'm 4.1 science short. I'm like, where can I go very quickly to get science? Then I noticed that little patch of dirt over there. The runway, of course. Anyway, jumping inside the spaceplane hangar. I thought I'd leave this in, because I haven't seen this, actually, before. This is the first time I've ever seen this spaceplane hangar like this, because I've played, Node Point 90. And I really love how this looks. This is all patched up. There's some cargo containers that look like they've just been stolen right off a cruise ship. It's great. Anyway, put our most, our up-and-coming scientist in again, Bob Kerman, to, just go further than any Kerbal has ever been before. Onto the runway. Yeah, I think if, oh, I bet there's mass limits for the runway as well. Because I was thinking, well, if I destroy the launch pad at some point, I could just use the runway. And I was like, I bet they have a dick of a mass limit. Anyway, 0.9 science. Well, one thing I did notice is on hard mode, they've also, retracted the, halved the science bonuses. And that's annoying, because I like to get science. If I should probably put it on hard mode, but normal science mode. But that would not be hard. That would be cheating. Well, not really cheating. Just making it too easy on myself. I'm far too versed in KSP to make it easy on myself. Anyway, was that enough science? I very much doubt it. Yeah, 43.2, not enough. So let's attach some mystery goo to that and send it back out onto the runway to grab that science we so desperately need. Yeah, look how trash this building is. They probably just found a warehouse and were like, yep, this'll do. There's a random ladder. I'm going to climb that ladder one day. I'm going to climb the hell out of that ladder. Whew, man, this felt like a really long recording for some reason. Man, I hope Sony Vegas hasn't been playing back really slowly, and I've just like been recording for half an hour for a 20-minute video. That would not be good. Anyway, yeah, let's just get these mystery goos. I'm gonna do a repeat test so I get a little tiny bit more science because then hopefully I will have enough for everything. Anyway, let's see. Did we get enough science? Did I get all that science? Yes, I did. I now have 45.4 science. All the science I need to research. I'm thinking solar panels, mystery goo, that sort of stuff. I don't need bigger engines yet. Don't need... Oh, that's a cool thing that Clampotron docking port. That's part of the station science mod, which I do have. I have the station science mod. I thought that would be cool. Anyway, here's a few things. I'm going to get that and unlock the solar panel and the materials bay. But anyway, that is the end of the episode. I very much hope you've enjoyed this. This has been episode 2 of A New World. This has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.